think that our next session is based on this, and I'm sure that all our panelists will be here, and we'll have a very fruitful and the productive discussion.
Think a lot. There's a lot of thought process that is involved in any activity that we do, especially when we are teaching the engineering class. There are a lot of minor points where we ask them to think. They fail. The processes they fail. They stand up again, and then they get into the research. We've all come up that way. Somewhere I feel with a complete access of ChatGPT, all these points are getting in the back burner. For example, you can train the ChatGPT and get right answers. So the question of failure and the root cause thinking is eliminated. I personally feel that when we are giving access to AI, I don't know, I'm not technically into AI. Maybe Naviji, you can help me a little in this. When we are giving this to the student folk, I think we should put some filters, and that's when we should have an access to AI, wherein it's partial thinking and partial use of AI. As of now, I don't know if there is any control over AI if it's given to high schools. The second
Okay.
place where I feel AI is a big help is when we actually get into the startup field. I again specialize with startups, so I work with a lot of startups. Over there, I feel AI is a real blessing in disguise because there they don't have time, and the failure at that point is not, they don't have space for failure. They don't have a, scope to fail because of a lot of practical issues. So that's where I feel AI is a real boon. So, we should have AI for the academics with certain filters. Maybe you can, help me, but this is what I feel should be there.
Yeah. Yeah, very valid point. Great point, by the way. Thank you so much. So now your point brings me to the next question that is called ChatGPT. So nowadays ChatGPT is used by everyone, by students especially. So in the initial reaction to ChatGPT in many institutions was a focus on detection tool, like whether the student writes with the help of ChatGPT or not. Okay. So right now, where do we go from here? Like how we can move from the punitive policy model to one that fosters authentic learning and the critical thinking in the age of AI. So right now we are in the mode of punitive mode. We are trying to penalize like why to use ChatGPT and all, but that is not the right way. We have to move from here to the point where we can really foster the thinking and in the age of AI. So I would like to have bite, the perspective from other panel like Dr. Ali. Yeah, would you like to share your perspective, like how to move from here
Thank you,
to
Navin.
yeah.
Thank you, Navin. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon. I think artificial intelligence is not just transforming higher education, it is redefining the purpose of it. We are entering in an age where machine can predict our student performance outcomes, but still there are some challenges. I think it's not just technological, it's ethical. For example, AI can amplify human potential or not. But I believe the future of education will not be decided by algorithms only, but our very values of human, and it can be combined of human wisdom and technological innovation. AI can only process the data, but what about curiosity, empathy, critical thinking, human connection, creativity? I think, well, there AI cannot function well. And the ethical integration of AI is not just an option, I think. It is mandatory and more responsible. Because the
Nice.
higher education must be intelligent, equitable, and above all, profoundly human. Otherwise, there would be a big chaos. Well, That's my takeaway. Thank you.
Point, very nice point, very nice point. I agree. So I would like to now bring in Dr. Emmanuel also. So how must our methods of assessment evolve now? What does cheating even mean now, and how we can design assignments that are AI resilient or even AI enhanced? So Dr. Emmanuel would like to have your perspective on this.
Please come again. I will just come again.
Yes, Doctor.
Hello, please. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but little. Yeah.
I was driving. Come again with you.
Okay. I would like to bring down Dr. David now. So David now, yeah, how do like what does cheating even mean now? Okay, because students use nowadays ChatGPT and other tools for the assignment answer and all. So what does cheating even mean now, and how we can design assignments that are AI resilient and or AI enhanced?
You're asking me, are you?
Yes, please.
Right. I think we're on a learning curve, and I really don't think we have a complete answer to that at the moment in time. However, what we can do is to make sure that the use of AI, we monitor it in a way which we consider to be fair when it comes to any work that is produced by the student. For example, what we have done at Buckingham University, whereas before, when a student produces a piece of work, we used to look at that piece of work in its entirety. Now, in order to get some understanding of what we have discussed with regard to critical thinking and the loss of, for example, trusted information in research, because correct me if I'm wrong, I'm no expert on AI, but AI systems, in my opinion, learn from existing data. So if that existing data contains bias, wrongful information, that is regurgitated and can be picked up and put through in a piece of work. So what we do is we try and bring a balance. We have split the 100% mark into two areas. We have split one at 80%, that being the written work, and 20% as a front of class presentation on the subject that the student can be challenged upon content understanding and critical thinking. And that's what we've done. So the 20% is the weighting, and then 80% for the main publication of his thesis. So but that's been forced upon us by the understanding that students now are readily have access to technology. They use AI as a matter of routine. And it's our way really of protecting ourselves from an academic perspective when it comes to the quality of the work that the students are producing. So at the end of each session, we write a report, and then we put all that into the system because that's required for quality control purposes. So that's how we've sort of brought a balance to it. But the answer really is that I believe it's an ongoing journey. We're learning as we go along. We're tripping over because information that we don't quite understand. If we don't understand it, how can we manage it? So I think everybody is still on a learning curve because it's developing. What was developed yesterday is out of date today. So in answer to your question, it's a learning journey that we're all part of, and hopefully at some point we'll make sense of it.
Nice, very nice point, by the way. So let's go back to Dr. Dinesh, Professor Dinesh now, and Professor Sarat also on this. What does cheating mean now, and how we can design assignment that are AI resilient and AI enhanced? Yes, Professor Dinesh.
Yes, now this is something that I have been really working on very recently with some institutions. As Dr. David rightly said, it's 80% theory and 20% is on the class in a presentation. What we have started doing as far as the assignments are concerned is we've drafted questions in such a way, it takes a lot of work at the end of the instructors.
Mm.
We have drafted questions, and we also know that, yes, they are going to refer to ChatGPT. So we have drafted questions wherein when they have to feed these questions, or rather when they have to ask ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Perplexity for any solutions, they have to put in a lot of effort to train the bot, and their answers are evaluated on how well they have actually trained the bot. So when you put up a question, that question is put up to ChatGPT. They have to give a lot of background to the ChatGPT to get those answers. So when we put up any assignment, what we do is 60% of the questions of the assignment are such that a lot of training to the bot is required. And the balance 40% of the questions that we put in the assignments, we try to put them in a very, very, very generic way, as in something where the answer is never right, never wrong. It's just their perspective.
Mm.
And then we ask them to come and talk on those particular questions. And that's where we gauge what is their thinking and how much, or rather, what is the level of understanding. That's what we do in certain academics.
Points, very nice point. So I love it brings to me the next point that is called bias. So nowadays the racial bias, the gender bias, and all. As you know that AI models can perpetuate and even amplify social biases like gender biases and all. What are the specific risks regarding race, gender, and disability in an educational context? Okay, so I would like to know a perspective from Professor Sarat and Professor Ali also. Yeah.
Okay. I think bias is kind of very bias, prejudice, some kind of a bigotry. What you call is to have a fly in the ointment. This is very human. And it amplifies when we try to platform this bias. I mean, before even the internet, someone who would have a politicians or a statesman, if you like to, if you have the deep-sitting bias, that obviously would get reflected on in his mannerism, his public speaking ability. And today, obviously, due to internet, your bias can be in tens of thousands of echo chambers that he creates. So, or any kind of a perpetuation of the myth. So how do you contend that? The important part is not only prior to containing that bias, how do you know it is a bias? Bias, when at a very personal level of bias is very identifiable. Some kind of malice, some kind of a hatred, some kind of a lampooning. But when it's an institutional bias, it's very difficult even to know. And because then you'd have the way this entire content would be presented, that it's very difficult to know that there is a bias element or some kind of a prejudice. So it's just to know that, knowing the devil, that very devil, that this is bias some kind. And then so we see that how that bias is actually is taking wings. It's a very self-shifting creature, but it's a very, if you really look at the way, even the institutional bias we know today, the way that this is being a part and parcel of a lot of this content that is being produced, and and particularly when now we are dealing this bias in an AI environment, and AI is probably more self-shifting a creature than any other. animal that you have dealt with so far. But I think the very basic, we really have to go back to the roots, identify and see that how it is gradually gaining momentum or gaining mass, and to come to a very larger shape called the AI and the tens of thousands of echo chambers that you have created.
Okay, nice. Very nice points. Yeah. So now Dr. Ali
Ali.
Ahmed.
So,
So what is your
Naveen,
question? What are the risks?
I think AI can be biased as well. Important question is who designed it. For example, AI might have some algorithms design, while who will give favor to the native English speakers, someone from very rural village of India. He or she has different kind of language. AI might have some kind of different kind of algorithm set. Well, in that case, native English speakers might get benefits. Well, there is a risk of algorithm. Important question is who shape it and whose values actually AI reflecting.
So can you just name it? Can you name it 5 risks with that? Name the risk, like inequality will increase. Can you name the risk basically?
Inequality will increased, yes, definitely. Well, because whose values they are reflecting, or for example, native English speaker, well, they might get benefit, and also academic purpose. Well, in that case, well, some certain kind of values might be more dominant than other values.
And can you count other ones, like other risk now?
Teaching, well, creativity might getting down.
Okay, and
also AI collaboration. While some schools might not have capacity to collaborate full AI, some might have collaboration capacities. They might get benefits.
okay. So there can be more imbalance, right? Gender imbalances,
Yeah.
racial imbalance will increase, right? There can be
Yeah.
more toxicity, more crime in a way, it will foster
Mhm.
more crime and all. So what
Yeah.
are the universities' responsibility in mitigating and preventing those risks?
I think more moral education required, while AI and ethics, well, everyone should have fair access. Everyone should have fair and equal values, and also algorithms, especially. Algorithms should be set up with non-biasly. Otherwise, someone might get benefits.
I would like to know the actionable insights from everyone, like every panel members, Dr. David, Professor Sarat, Professor Dinesh, Professor Emmanuel. So I would like to know what are the actionable steps to be taken, to mitigate those risks.
If I can come in from a detective perspective, if the use of AI is producing an evidential chain, for example, how can we be 100% certain that that chain of information is correct and unbiased? If that was relied upon to go into a courtroom, what you might find is that the court may challenge that information, because there is a system called the continuity of evidence, and the continuity of evidence determines a piece of information, how it was found, how it was handled, how it was produced, etc. And there must be a clear line of reliability of that evidence right the way through into a courtroom. If there's any break in that chain of handling, then it can be challenged. Is it admissible? Yes or no? And of course, the downside is that if it's accepted and it's wrong and it's biased because of previous infection, it means that a person who is under normal circumstances innocent could be found guilty. So there's a lot of problems when it comes to errors and misidentification, possibly the risk of over-reliance. Does it take the human factor out of investigations, for example? Hopefully it does not. But what it does, it questions or brings into play the lack of rationale thinking of a detective, because things become quicker. Everyone's under pressure now. In my day, a large inquiry might take up to 3 years. I dare say AI could halve that. So there's a lot going on. And I go back to my previous argument that we're still at the crossroads and we don't quite know, in my opinion, how to handle it, and how to really rely upon it.
Okay, got it. Let's get now new other panel members now. Just quick, what are the
Professor
steps
Naveen,
to mitigate?
Professor Naveen, we have next session supposed to start 2 o'clock. So you have to wrap up within next few minutes.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so in my opinion, I will consider governance and ethical framework that the organizations, companies, industry practitioners should consider. So the company or the industry, or as academicians, we should develop and deploy AI systems that are fair, transparent, accountable, and respectful of human values and privacy. So we should embrace the use of AI in our organizations, but there should be policies guiding us so that users may not misuse or abuse the use of AI. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So, Dr. Naveen, can I say something?
Yeah, please.
Well, so what I think, artificial intelligence can process data, but only human can influence transformation.
Right.
So future education should be more humane. That is my take.
Nice point.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Naveen, can I say something with your permission?
Yeah, please.
I think more than us answering that question, you should be giving us a solution, because you're actually a person from that particular field. We really look up to you for answers to such questions. How we can protect our future generations from, how we can have justice with AI. So we look at people like you for answers. That should have been a question directed to you, actually.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we can focus on now building a very strong AI guardrails. So AI guardrails is one of the best thing we can do. We can create guardrails at the input layer, output layer, and API layer. So it will minimize the biases at every gate. For example, someone asks weird questions. That weird question can be detected and can be avoided by the AI systems. Even while giving the output, they will try to filter one more time, whether this has a no biases or no toxicity, then they will pass the answer to the user. So we can create very strong guardrails. Already many companies are building it in a global scenario, like NVIDIA or Meta, OpenAI. All they are building the public forums now. They're trying to aggregate all the viewpoints from all over the world, people, and figuring out what can be the risk, and building a very cohesive and very collaborative kind of guardrails now. So that can safeguard it. We need to now accelerate our work in the guardrail work basically, and build strong guardrails so that adoption can be faster and better in coming time. That is a quick answer, I can say that. And also the LLM companies should be more responsible while taking data. They must take the data which is less biased while training the model, so that the basic output of all the LLMs and the AI should be less biased. So these are two main things I can wrote down. So now this point take me to the next point. What are the key components that must be in a university-wide policy? Suppose someone is running in university or college, what they can promote as a key component? What can be the key components which can help in this kind of arresting this bias and toxicity and all these unethical practices? Dr. Datta?
Naveen, okay, I'll give you the short response, but as I said, we need to finish this session maximum 5 minutes.
Yes.
Maximum
Please,
5 minutes because
yeah.
keynote speakers are waiting. Okay.
Yes.
Naveen, your question is what? Let me see. Can you repeat again? I think.
Yeah. What are the key components that must be in a university-wide AI policy to arrest the bias and toxicity and all those things, So what should be the policy in a university so that we can arrest the biases and all those
It is
challenges?
a very good point you mentioned. The question is that what institution, the main goal, that should be first defined. That many institutions in the UK, initially, they have introduced the AI, integrated with the Turnitin, but when institutions see the students are failing, they have removed that AI components from Turnitin. So first question is the institution must think, do they want more money, more pass, more performance, or they want to see most important, that ethical education that is more balanced and responsible education. If it is the case, then they must actually incorporate that number of components in their policy. Number one is the policy should be guiding the educators that that how they should assess their students. I think someone said, that I feel strongly the core elements of any education system should be building human nature. The moral education, although the moral education doesn't look good, people scared about it. But or maybe we can put it the different way, because education, scholarship, all are inquiry about ethics. Now, if we see that we would like to assess the students' potential, students' integrity, then first components that assessment systems should be revised, redesigned, and there should be clear actions how academics should assess their students. Number three, I think AI literacy level should be increased among academics and also the students. I think that many institutions, although they are using now number of training program, how to use responsible AI, I think that literacy level should be increased. And also, that the different types of tools and how I can say, different types of elements they should incorporate within the training program, within the syllabus, and within the curricula that will define clearly the key responsibilities for the tutor and the key duties and responsibilities for the students. I think to have all these components, first things, institution must think, what is their educational policy? So in short, as I said, the many things are not known to us, and you are part of the policy development. You know what is happening at a national level, at the local level, and also at international level. Many things you don't have. I think that the question came out, inclusions and equality within the AI system is vital. So we are just learning more, that what to be done, what not to be done.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I feel that the audience must have got a lot of insight today regarding the ethical AI practices, challenges, and all. I would like to thank all the esteemed panel members, Professor Dinesh, Professor David, Professor Sarat, Dr. Ali, and Dr. Attah. Thank you so much for your kind insights, for kind views, perspectives, and sharing all the insightful points. I'm very happy to see that Dr. Datta has taken these initiatives of democratizing the AI safety and ethical AI. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Would like to
Thank you. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you.
Professor David, before I give this to you, I really would like to congratulate Professor Naveen Mansavi, and sincere gratitude and thanks to you. I know that you are traveling, too busy, too committed, too much responsibilities, but you found sometimes to share with us. I think it shows your wisdom, your great understanding about the field, and the way you have navigated the workshop, the special session. It is memorable. I felt that I have learned quite a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you, Naveen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Professor David, over to you.
Thank you so much indeed. I think following that is a really, really good session. It was, I think it was really worth